On the table, you may be highly interested in this one, LEGO Ideas, the globe. Hey everyone, this is Dan, and thank you for watching Squirrel Stampede. Since the dawn of Squirrel has been wondering what the globe Earth looks like from afar, and this build will surely give you that opportunity. A fantastic geological graphical build of our planet Earth built from brick. This is going to be a fantastic day today to watch and see this globe being constructed, how it's constructed. It's just an interesting formation build here. How do these pieces form this sphere and then rotate on this axis? So much to see and learn, and of course, where all the squirrels are from. Which continent, I don't know. That would probably actually be another disrotation for another time. So let's begin the build of the LEGO Ideas globe.
Squirrel Stampede! Please squike, squament,
and Squirrel Live.
And what do we have inside the globe box? One large booklet of instructions, of course. Bag 1 with a co-pilot. Bag 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 bag stages of the world. Well, if we want to know more about all the squirrels of the world, we have to build the globe. Let's get building. And the globe build begins. Thought I would just kind of stay down here, small scale, and watch the build with you. This would be the display base to the globe, and it is pretty heavy. It's going to hold up the giant structure above it. Lots of really kind of loopy, intricate details to it also too that just make it very display worthy. So bag 2, we're gonna work more on the armature structure of what's going to hold up this globe piece. And this is actually very entertaining, the armature build. To the set. It's mostly, it feels like wood. It looks like wood, and that's what's so cool. It's like you're using brick, but it feels like wood from the distance with the round pieces. So that's pretty nice. So I see a skeleton back there too. And Alex. Now, the skeleton just left, and now Alex is standing in front of the mushroom house. I don't really know why the mushroom house is here, but it's there. So this is where it gets a little repetitive for the armature. You're going to build, I think that's 5 sections to start with here, and it's all the same. So get ready for repetition with this build. And now we build up our arm. Gets taller, 16 inches in height this thing should be. I feel like we're building a Stargate. And the skeleton is now on Alex's roof. That's odd. Yeah, it feels like a Stargate. LEGO needs to build a Ideas Stargate after this, because that would be fantastic, building all the little like constellations around it. That would be so cool. Oh, Alex has knocked off the skeleton off the mushroom house. That was kind of exciting. As we skin the outside of the armature, those really nice gold pieces. Bag 5. And I think bag 5 is the start of the Earth. It's the start of the globe, the outer ring. And here is a great detailed shot of repetition. We're building 6, I think that's 6 zones here to move around the planet with. I think that zone with the red piece is probably one of the structure points. The skeleton is hiding now behind those trees. Alex seems to have its bow. So I'm not sure what's going on there. We link in the Earth together now. That's looking pretty nice. repetition going as we build. It feels like it feels like a Dyson sphere or something. And Alex chased off the skeleton. Good for her. I think this is the other half of the ring. We start with the equator of the Earth, and it's pretty much the same build as what we saw in Bag 5, just repeated again. Oh, it's crazy, just the amount of repetition here. You will have some of these stages down to memory for sure. And connect our first ring. There we go. And it's hard to see here, but I'm putting pins, little pins in each hole connector, and then connecting them so that they're nice and sealed tight. Alex has left. Not sure where Alex is. And oh, okay, now we can do a little bit of a continent. I think that was Africa we just put in, and now we're working over here above Australia, Pacific Ocean. That might be, not sure what that is, but this is definitely the best part of the build. That's a lot of fun, adding the continents after all the hard technic work. So now we're building the superstructure of the inside of the planet and trying to get these pieces. I had a lot of trouble with rods and getting the right rods a lot of times in the build, but we eventually got it. There's the structure, and that's gonna go right there into the ring. Looks like a space station right now. That's really interesting looking. Moving the armature out of the way, we're now on to Bag 8. And I think this is the start of the super repetition process as we build all these wedges, orange peel wedges I like to call them. And you can see the detail of the technic work inside under each panel. I did not anticipate so much technic work. I figured there had to be some, but I figured it would have been simplified, and this is pretty well structurified. It is strong. And the skeleton is back above the mushroom house there. And then you take your wedges and start placing them in. So the instructions have you placing the continents when the wedge is not put on yet, and I did it in reverse. I thought it was easier to put the continent pieces on once the wedge is in. Just because it was standing upright, it was easier to hold up. So I kind of deviated from the instructions there. Oh, the skeleton has got inside Alex's house now. He's ripped apart part of the mushroom build. That's crazy. We got a squirrel up there on the North Pole too. But you can see that every bag stage is 3 or 4. I think it's 3 wedges. No, 4 wedges per every quadrant. 4 wedges of earth. And underneath there's 2 kinds. There's 2 and 2. There's a wedge with a square rectangular piece and a wedge with a triangle piece, and they alternate back and forth in the what zone would be that? Not the equator, but the temperate zone. What do you call that? Can't think of the name of that latitude line. Is where it alternates between square and triangle, square and triangle, square and triangle. Ah! I think the skeleton is trying to take Alex's bed. He's moving it out for some reason, so that's odd. That skeleton is really weird. And more wedge construction going here. And you'll find some of them are really interesting when there's a lot of continents, and others are just kind of like ocean. So here I go again, placing them on, and oh, there's that boat. That boat was really cool. We'll look at that a little bit later. Oh, we got North America here. And rotating around a little bit. Oh, not the book, but the bed has fallen on top of the skeleton. I hope he's okay over there. Ouch. And we continue on with more wedges. And just constant rebuilding of wedges. This is a good set to build with a friend, because you can kind of go, hey, you build these, I'll build these. And we're almost done here with the Northern Hemisphere. And finishing up with Africa. There it is, looking good. Spin around it. Bag 12. The skeleton is still taking off with the bed of Alex. And now we're building the secondary structure, superstructure to the southern hemisphere. Something to connect onto. I'm not really sure why there's wheels inside. Those give it some sort of structure, pressure structure. And Alex now confronting the skeleton about the bed. So we got that going. Kind of interesting that in this build, they didn't just say build, you know, let's see, how many would that be? 16 wedges of one style all at once, and then 16 wedges of the other style all at once. That may have helped the build a little bit, in my opinion, but I'm not, maybe not. Maybe it was good to separate them. Oh, Alex has knocked over the skeleton, and the tree, the bed is in the tree. I don't know why the bed is in the tree. That is, there is something going on with those two. And more wedges. More wedges here. The earth, I believe, is upside down or right side up, depending on what side of the earth you live on. You may view the earth the other way if you live in the southern hemisphere. Let us know in the comments if that's how you do it, or do you always look at the earth with the north up? Do you look at it with the south up if you live in the south? Let us know. And more wedges! More wedges. And the tree has fallen over with the bed, or maybe the tree is taking off with the bed. I don't know. So. And more panels. Some of these in the southern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere has a lot more ocean, so it's not as exciting for putting down continents as the northern hemisphere is. It may be this stage actually where it's just feels like all water. It's pretty funny how that turned out. And Alex and the skeleton have lost the bed. The tree has left with the bed. I guess it got fed up with their little fight. So, you know, they better make up. And now we're gonna place in the final tiles to the sphere. Look at it, there it goes. And we're gonna add in our poles now. And these are really hard to put these rods in. I had to mess with these a couple times to get the rods all the way deep into the structure. It kind of helps to do it a little opposite way they tell you. And now we're gonna place it in onto the armature, and we're gonna reinforce so it doesn't fly off and roll off the table. And now the southern hemisphere pole. Get that locked down, a little more gold tile, and our beautiful faceplate. So that is the construction of the globe. It's fantastic. That turned out well. And there she is, the LEGO Ideas number 40, the globe. What a fantastic world-moving build. Hey, no Death Star. Darth Squirrel, get out of there, go. She stands 16 inches in height and 10 inches in length, pretty much in scale with a standard-sized globe. And a detail amongst all overeth. Each continent labeled nicely. There's South America, North America, oceans labeled. Look at the Pacific Ocean. Probably one of the most thrilling builds of the globe was the Pacific Ocean. A nice little boat there. Must be Hawaii right there. Think about all the other flat details you could probably customize throughout the map. Like maybe a Mixels continent. And over here to Australia down below, Asia over there, Indian Ocean, Europe, Africa. And this great little compass design here too. This compass feature in the southern hemisphere looks so nice and smooth. Adds that professional globe map feel to the geography to it. The armature is very sturdy. There's some weight to this build for sure. There's always some weight with LEGO builds. And the armature holds up the globe really well. I'm seeing nice rotation, nothing gumming it up. It's moving nice and smooth. If you place a squirrel there, it may get hit by the armature, so be careful on that. And there's some really nice gold brick detailing going down and around the nameplate of the Earth. And on the bottom of this base, there are those little wheel tires that give it a little bit of stickiness to a counter, so it's not going to get bumped and slide off a counter and go into a billion pieces. It looks fantastic and will work as an awesome display piece for a variety of functions. It also works as a great learning tool with all these little stud points. You can place down studs for your own historical purposes. Like, I think I'm living kind of right here. That might be a little high. I'll put myself right there. That's not the most accurate spot because of the scale, but you could place down stud markers all over this and use it as an awesome learning tool. And because you can lift up and remove these pieces of the continents, you could do all sorts of damage to the planet. You could even make Pangea, take all the pieces off and cram them all together. You could add your own new supercontinent of your own design over here in the Pacific Ocean if you wanted to. If you were that Dr. Evil type, I suppose. I love this little boat, by the way. It's such a nice little detail. For sure, the funnest part of this build for me was placing all the continent pieces. It was definitely super repetitive building the inner structure of this thing. Flipping over to the southern hemisphere, I once again wanted to show the insane structural detail of inside the globe. Do you like Technic pieces? Because this is a total Technic build inside. Be ready for a lot of repetition. But look at the beauty of the structure inside too. It is so fantastically intricate in how it constructs and builds together. Be prepared to build those 4 quadrants, both northern and southern hemisphere, of orange slice wedges to construct this planet. Such a fascinating inside world this is. Oh no. Hey, are you back again, Darth Squirrel? No. Turn that Death Star off now. Turn it off. If you blow up my globe, there will be no mixed nuts on the Squirrel Stampede snack table party after the review, okay? That's right, go away, pesky Darth Squirrel. I think it would have been nice to see a little more piece coloring of the planet. We're just seeing a tan and green to represent the continents. I would have kind of liked to see maybe a little bit of white for some taller mountains, like say the Himalayas in here. They must be probably in here. I think this is India right there. So maybe some, Himalayan detailing would have been kind of fun. However, again, you can certainly do that. Here's an extra flat brick. I will attempt to place the Himalayas right there. I don't know if that's entirely accurate, but go ahead and add a little detail to it if you need to. It is just fun to spin and spin. I'm just at awe with all the detailing of this build. Now I just need to learn a little bit more of the squirrels of the world. We mostly have the fox-tailed squirrel over here on this side of North America. I believe eastern North America has the gray squirrel and a darker, almost black squirrel, which I would love to encounter sometime. And then I'm hopeful that LEGO will create more of these squirrels in different colors. We still need a very reddish squirrel and maybe a polka-dotted green squirrel. So right now, North America has been invaded by squirrels, but be careful of this armature again. I don't think they're going to get past it. And that is the LEGO Ideas Globe. What a fun geography project for the day. Lots to be learned from the globe, and lots to continue to be learned from the globe with all the fantastic things you can modify this build with. Well, if you liked today's video, please give us a squike, a squirrelive, and a squamment. What was your most exciting part of the globe that you found interesting in the build? Thank you for watching, and that's what I have to say about that.